What's up? How you guys doing? Welcome. Crypto live stream. We talk about cryptos on a live stream. Hey, imagine that. I got one person, I had two people. It's okay. We'll give people some time to filter in. I'm a little late as always. I run on island time, y'all, so that's how it goes. Welcome. My name is DubDigital. I do this every week, once a week. I know I've been a little bit off lately. Life's been hard. Life's been long. Trying to get through it, y'all. But I do it once a week. You could always join in, tune in. I'm typically having it on weekends, but last couple weeks have been weird. Do it on the weekends. You could catch the record if you like long form. If not, I send out each article I talk about here. Send out his own video, like 2-minute video during the week for your viewing pleasure. Because I know y'all are busy people. I know I was when I was in the receiving end of the live stream. Little bit about me while we're waiting for people to filter in here. I was working a desk job, but I just kept listening to crypto all day. I had it in my ear. People were like, oh, well, you can't have stuff in your ear. I said, shut up. Doing the work. Shut up. I'm listening to crypto news. I'm listening to crypto 24/7. And I've been doing this for years, even before I started this channel. And I firmly believe there's no secrets, especially in investing. All you have to do is pay attention. It's not like anyone's hiding this from you. It's not like, someone gets all the important information, locks it up and keeps it in a vault. You just have to be like consistent in following the news. Then you can see kind of like the trends. The world is turning. You see it much earlier too than people who just rely on headlines. That's what I'm trying to do here. And most importantly, not trying to do it for you here, but hopefully in time, if you stick with me, teach you how to do it for yourself so you can fish, not just get a fish. You can learn how to fish. You know what I'm saying? What's up? Brazil and Argentina want to create a new coin, but it's not BRICS stuff, not real, and not peso. Lula is just crassy and corrupted. Well, they talked about like one for South America. To be honest, man, I don't think like when people come out and say, oh, we're going to join BRICS, we're going to do this. They don't just say, oh, the BRICS currency is going to be our only currency. Then they talk about trying to trade in local currency. I think the main theme with this whole de-dollarization thing is that it's just not the dollar. People want to move towards something that's not the dollar, whether that's Bitcoin, whether that's the BRICS currency, whether that's local currencies, whether that's wands. Like, it doesn't really matter. What really matters for us to capitalize is positioning in alternate currencies, which I believe we're doing right now. Why is that the main thing? Look, man, on macroeconomic investing, you want to look for that big shift. It's a shift in the world. It's a shift in the way people think. And most of the money and most of the liquidity is wrapped up in US dollars right now. So we don't have to pick the exact right one. We just have to spread ourselves out in the places that money could potentially flow. Because right now there's almost no money in those alternative places. You know what I mean? So interesting. And like, to be honest, it's all the money's not going to flow into crypto. Like, a good amount could, but I don't expect all of it to. But just in a small amount going in, that means like exponents on our investments, right? I believe some will go into gold. I believe some will go into silver. I believe some will go into whoever the next world reserve currency is going to be. Maybe the yuan, right? I believe some will go into the BRICS currency. It's not a one size fits all thing. We're just looking at a multipolar world here. See, that's the thing, man. Like with macro investing, you don't have to be right on the money because time is forgiving. If you haven't noticed, these things happen over long periods of time. Just pay attention to everything in this. Everything's a learning experience. Whether you feel like you missed the top, you didn't pull, you didn't perform exactly right, that's not the point. The point is taking the lumps, understanding the lesson, and not doing that mistake again, right? So over the long term, anyone can get good at macro investing as long as you have the perseverance and you treat it for what it is, everything being a learning experience. Nothing goes to waste. If you're going to pay the price with your portfolio, you might as well learn something from it. 3 people, what's up? A couple more minutes. We'll give people some time to filter in. We'll get going. Hello, DubDigital. Nice to see you. Nice to see you as well, man. It's always fun. Definitely one of my ride or dies for sure. Let me right size my screen real quick. And more importantly, guys, always stay a couple steps ahead. While we feel like we've been early into crypto in this downturn, while not ideal, was just another situation where you can grow your market share in the crypto space, right? You could gobble up more influence, you can gobble up more coins, you can expand when everyone's contracting. And now I believe that expansion part is slowly coming back. Sentiment slowly coming back. And the work that you did in the downtime, that's when you're going to see how big that tree really has become, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We will. Same goes for life too. Just need to pay attention. Literally, that's all you got to do. You don't got to be the smartest. You don't got to be the fastest. I played a lot of sports in my life, guys. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. Almost never. But I was one of the mentally toughest. You know what I mean? And you could definitely see that like on like the combat sport, like wrestling. He used to wrestle for some amount of time, right? Yeah, the guy's fast and he's strong for a time till he gets tired. Everyone gets tired, right? There's strategy and everything. And a lot of the time, guys, all you got to do is show up. Just show up. Read the news. Show up. You don't got to feel good. Just stay tuned in. And then you got to edge because everyone quit and looked the other way while you stayed staring at it. They're killing the dollar, of course. Two people, what's good? Little chamomile tea. It says it's gonna make me sleepy. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm getting a better feeling about crypto lately. I mean, I'm not like crazy about it all the time, but I'm seeing around everyone's at least open to the idea of Bitcoin going up, right? 17,000, everyone said Bitcoin's dead, it's dying. It goes to 30,000, people feel a little better. Starts climbing up. That's what we call the wall of worry, right? Markets are a wall of worry. It's going up. And even when it's going up, people are worried that it's going to fall down. That's just inevitable. It's inevitable. Just remember, as the sentiment starts to shift, remember how people were talking. Remember what the post looked like. Remember how many people were rage quitting. So you can remember next time when this happens, look around and say, I feel like this has happened before. Nothing changes. The human brain doesn't change. We all think in similar patterns most of the time. We're in the disbelief boring phase. We are. That's exactly where we are, Johnny. Smart. Building a market structure. Yeah, building the floor. We're building the floor. It's the most boring on the floor. It goes up, builds a floor. But the longer we stay in these ranges, the more secure our investments get because it's building like strong resistance over years at this point, And if we didn't fall down to 17,000 back a year or two ago, why would we do it now? We might dip. I mean, like, guys, to be honest, like, you got to know how crypto moves, and that's what I'm here for. If you haven't been in crypto a long time, channels like mine hopefully gives you some insight of what's happened in the past because I try to pull everyone with me, right? But like, crypto gets more and more volatile before it takes off, right? It's much like pulling a rubber band backwards, right? Like, you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back, and it's just going further and further back, that volatility increasing until you really let it go, and it slings the other way. You can't just have something stagnant go boom, at least for a sustained move. Volatility, increasing volatility before the expansion is healthy. It's healthy for a market. Yo, my boy, Generational Talent, what's up? Y'all doing? You like my facial hair? I'm getting ready. Lumberjack life. Take my crypto, move to the forest. Talk to trees and shit. I don't know, man. 5 people, what's up? Let's get going. Let me share my screen real quick. Share. Yes, share. This one. Close this. All right, we're Gucci. Fed sees stable coins as form of money, wants robust role in its oversight, Powell says. The United States Federal Reserve Board sees payment stablecoins as a form of money. Chair Jerome Powell said during questioning at the House of Representatives Financial Service Committee semi-annual hearing on Fed policy on June 21st. Powell's comments came in response to committee ranking members Maxine Waters, who asked for his reaction to the proposed stablecoin bill, which originated with the Republicans and would be the first crypto legislation in the U.S. if passed. Waters told Powell that the bill would create 58 different licenses with federal regulatory approval over only 2 of the licenses. The remaining licenses would be issued by states, territories, and other jurisdictions, which take states' preemption to a whole new level, said Powell. What she said. Powell responded, We do see payment stablecoins as a form of money, and we believe that it would be appropriate to have quite a robust federal role in what happens in stablecoins going forward. Allowing a lot of private money creation at the state level would be a mistake, he added. Powell took a position that runs contrary to that of secretaries and that of Securities and Exchange Commission SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Gensler spoke at a Senate Banking Committee hearing last year and said that the stablecoins may require registration and regulation, and has repeatedly stated that all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin are securities. Powell's position does not conform any better to Commodities Futures Trading Commission or the CFTC Chair Rostin Benham's claim that stablecoins will be determined to be a commodity. There is no easily accessible Fed definition of money, but is commonly considered a means of exchange. Commodities are defined under U.S. law as goods and articles, and all services, rights, and interests. The former CFTC chair, Chris Giancarlo, weighed in on the bill in an editorial in The Hill. Giancarlo said, The simple fix to this problem is to provide the government's licensing authorities have no discretion to pick and choose among otherwise lawful activities and conditions. Sorry guys, I ain't seen these words. On the stablecoin's denial of legal transactions. Otherwise, stablecoin transactions will be frighteningly beholden to the shifting political winds of Washington. First one, it's rough. Hey, we start to see the Fed understand what's going on here, and this is why I told you guys months ago, stablecoins are more of a problem than Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies. That's fine. What the government really cares about is controlling the method of which you exercise that purchasing power that you get in the digital world, in the physical world, because all of it kind of doesn't matter until you pull it out and you want to buy something real with it. That's what the Fed wants to know. And that's what governments and like politicians want to see, that data. They want to be able to understand it. They want to see what you're buying. They want to understand what people are doing. They want to be able to control you and corral you. So if you have a decentralized stablecoin that doesn't allow them to collect that information, that makes it harder and they can't just manipulate with a will, snap of their fingers, it's more difficult to understand that. It's more difficult to implement behavioral economics. It's just harder. So you start to see them come at stablecoins explicitly saying, we want to control stablecoins. We want to issue money. And the real thing is, the Fed's 100% right. Stablecoins is private money. The only people who have ever had the ability to create money and make it into existence were first kings. But then we moved to this national government model. Now it's nations and governments. Whoever has that right will not let go of it willingly, because it basically keeps them in control of the economy and gives them that world reserve currency status. No one could print money except, well, us. And that's what they want to keep. So you're starting to see it's all coming out now. It's all about control. It's always been about control. It's never really been about your safety. I'm sorry to break it to you. What do you think? For people. Actually, let me get into another one. As you guys know, I touch a couple articles, come back, check out the comments, leave something for me if you want me, ask me a question. If not, I'll just continue rolling through it. It's hot, man. Okay, next one. U.S. House Committee committee to vote on crypto stablecoin legislation in July. A U.S. congressional committee drawing new rules for digital asset plans to debate and likely advance two proposed new laws in the second week of July. House Financial Services Committee Chair Patrick McHenry told his panel this morning that he plans to hold a session on debating, changing, and likely advancing legislation that would create a more distinct pathway for digital assets to transition from security investments to commodities, which have lower reporting and regulatory requirements, along with other market structure-related provisions. McHenry and Rep. Glenn Thompson, the Republican chair of the House Agricultural Committee, drafted the legislation. Though it will need support from Democrats in the Senate and President Joe Biden's signature in order to become law. McHenry made the scheduling update at the beginning of a regular oversight hearing on Wednesday with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. The committee will also debate a separate bill to create a comprehensive regulatory framework for stablecoins, written primarily by McHenry and Rep. French Hill. The July session will allow members of the committee to introduce changes to the text, with the final version subject to an up or down vote to report it out favorably from the panel. Advancing the bill from committee would tee them up for votes in the full House of Representatives. Like I said, guys, everyone is basing their immediate worldview on crypto around pretty much the whims of Gary Gensler, who is the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. That would be the case if crypto was definitively labeled securities, right? That would be within his purview. However, I've been saying Gary Gensler and the SEC are not the only regulating bodies that could potentially control and regulate crypto. The CFTC, the Commodities Board, they can do it too. And you're starting to see, I guess you would say, politicians understand that, right? They've went the SEC way. Everyone's engaged the SEC. SEC has acted in bad faith to cryptocurrency exchanges, cryptocurrency industries, and people in general. Just made it hard, right? So now we're watching that talent flee the US, go international. And to be honest, these politicians, while they're slow to act and could kind of be hard-headed and top-down controlling, they're not stupid. And they're seeing that, and they're saying, hey, we want to make some of that money too. We want good people to stay in our country too. So they're starting to talk about, hey, maybe these are commodities. And that's what I've always thought cryptocurrencies to be. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I own Bitcoin, but Bitcoin does me a payment service more than I own Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really own the chain. I have access to the chain. I believe that's more in line of a commodity versus security, because I don't really buy Bitcoin to benefit from the returns it gives me. Bitcoin doesn't give me a return. Bitcoin is, people would call, a boring asset, much like gold. It's all about capital preservation. Now, these cryptos that staking and people buy them with expectation to get yield, that's more of the securities landscape. But I think these adequately decentralized POW coins, technically labeled Dino coins, most of them, will be labeled as commodities. It will be very interesting to have part of the crypto landscape labeled as security and others labeled as a commodity. Because we're so used in crypto to everything going up at the same time. I mean, 2017, that was a huge, that was mainly the case. Right now, we're starting to see decoupling. Now, different niches are taking off, metaverse taking off, memes taking off. But security versus commodity, that's going to be interesting. We're watching the maturation of a whole asset class, y'all. No one has these questions. I mean, these answers to some of these questions, right? You go to YouTube, you type things in, you don't find the answer. You got to watch 100 videos to find out the answer. Guys, it's because we don't have all the answers yet. This is a new industry. You're finding out with us. You know what I mean? But we're starting to see some of these hard questions actually get taken seriously. I love to see it. What do you guys think? What you think of my biggest bag quant? To be honest, I don't know much about quant. I mean, I don't think it was labeled as a security by the SEC, right? If it's not, is it adequately decentralized? Is it POS? Like not every POS coin is going to be called a security because not every POS coin is siloed within the United States. But these are the things that I'm looking at, like what the SEC is saying, what's coming out of these court cases. That's what I'm seeing, right? Decentralization, no like pre-sale, POW, because with POW, there's no expectation to get a return, right? Like maybe if you're mining, but that's not really getting something from buying the asset. You're actually and actively investing and mining and consuming electricity to create a coin. So I'm not sure. Tell me about it. For people, what's up? That's it. Okay. Let's get a drink. My reading skills are increasing. Let's go. Optimism Network transactions surged 67% following Bedrock upgrade. Transaction on the Optimism Network surged 67% following its June 7th Bedrock upgrade. The network has been seeing less than 300,000 transactions per day before the upgrade, but this figure increased over 550,000 by the middle of June. Its Bedrock hard fork was intended to reduce deposit times and fees, as well as increase the network security. The Bedrock upgrade was part of a broader set of proposals to create a superchain consisting of multiple blockchain networks that rely on the same software for security and interoperability. Coinbase confirmed that its base network would join Optimism as part of the superchain. The base team announced its path to mainnet preliminary roadmap on May 24th. Interesting to see. As you guys don't know, Optimism is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum that's largely being pioneered by Coinbase. I don't think it's Coinbase. I'm pretty sure it's being done by Coinbase. Thus why they're looking to use it as like in their infrastructure and become part of the super chain of what they call it. However, I must say this isn't really a new idea. Maybe for a EVM scaling solution it is, but overall, Cosmos was doing something like this first. It's like the app chain is what they called it. And it's basically everything's built on a framework. And because it's built on a common framework, every app has similar like interoperability between it. And you gain efficiency through fees and scaling and such like that. However, my main gripe with that model is that yes, it's interoperable within the super app chain, right? Like anything beyond that, you still face the same problems. And largely, I mean, that means that this Optimism network, for it to gain significant traction, it would have to get significant usage and significant builders building on this chain. Not solely on the chain, but doing that, right? So that will take some time to get that network effect. And within that time, we've seen models like this collapse, like Cosmos. So we'll have to see what comes of this. Optimism trying to vie for position. What I think is the most noteworthy thing in this whole story is it used to be just Polygon. It was king of the layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum. Then we see Arbitrum get some love. Optimism's coming out. Competition breeds quality. Love to see it. What do y'all think? What does it mean to the normal Joe if crypto is deemed a security over a commodity? Well, what does it mean to the normal Joe in the everyday life? I mean, from the assets that they hold, not really much, right? Because this is like a label that we're giving these things. But whatever label we give it, the digital assets still perform the same function, right? However, I mean, from a regulatory standpoint, from a legal standpoint, it has big implications, right? Because if it's deemed a security, guess who's regulating securities? Gary Gensler. Has Gary Gensler been favorable or adversarial to crypto? I would say the latter, right? And that's where it matters. If there was someone in the SEC that was amenable to crypto, willing to work with crypto, this would not be a big deal. But because there isn't someone in there, that's why I think this is so significant. And if it's a commodity, there's less oversight on commodities. There's different requirements for commodities. Yeah, we just need a definition, right? Because the one way to take what do you call it, momentum out of a market is to make everyone uncertain. To be honest, it would be a better situation if they just came out and said everything's a security. At least we would know. It'd be better if they said everything's a commodity. At least we would know. There's a reason the SEC has kept this so opaque and so muddy and so cloudy for so long. This is the max way to hurt an industry. You guys don't think all this had to take so long, right? This wasn't necessary. This is just what they wanted to do, right? Look at the Ripple case. Look at all the cases SEC has been involved with. They're never short. They always drag out. At the end of dragging it out, there never is a real decision. It's always just some kind of waiver and a money grab by the SEC. That's why I say the SEC has not been working in great faith and confidence, right? All right, next one. Circle and Sequoia were among the top depositors at Silicon Valley Bank. Stablecoin issuer Circle and venture capital firm Sequoia Capital were reportedly among the top 10 depositors at the collapsed crypto-friendly Silicon Valley Bank SVB in March. According to a June 23rd report from Bloomberg, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation (FDIC) provided documents suggesting that Circle, Sequoia, and others were covered for deposits in the billions of dollars. The Federal Reserve announced following the SVB collapse that it would work with the FDIC to make both insured and uninsured depositors whole. In situations, the FDIC only insures up to $250,000 per depositor. Circle reportedly held roughly $3.3 billion in deposits, while Sequoia had roughly $1 billion. Other major depositors included Silicon Valley Bank itself, SVB Financial Group, biotechnology research firm Altos Labs, and Kanzan Limited, a China-based company behind a major online recruitment platform. SVB, we're start to see like the forensics that's come from these banking collapses that happened only like 3 months ago. Only 3 months have gone and everyone seems like it never happened. See, now this out the media news cycle. But with time comes clarity. And with clarity, we understand not just how large this issue was, but who was wrapped up in it and why it hit crypto so hard. Circle, they're huge. Sequoia, they're huge in the VC element of crypto, right? And they were hit super hard, like way, way, way hard. However, it's good to see, like, well, I don't know how good it is to see, but it's good to get some more clarity behind it. You know, it would make a lot more sense why that particular bank just decimated the crypto market. So we'll have to watch Circle and Sequoia to see what that's done to them. I mean, they're really huge players, but that's a lot of money, $1 billion. They probably have a few more billion, but hey, interesting. Not sure what to make of it yet. This is kind of like an in-between piece, just keeping updated on the SVB thing. But I'm sure the skeletons will start to come out of the woodworks the more people dig into who owed what, how big the positions were, so on and so forth. Can't wait to see that piece. Next one. Binance eyes United Arab Emirates as focal point for future operations. The United Arab Emirates is becoming the next big focus for Binance in the wake of a slew of enforcement actions in the United States against the crypto exchange. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Binance Dubai General Manager Alex Chihad, said the UAE is a prime destination for crypto businesses seeking a clear path forward and noted its friendly stance toward digital assets. Binance identified the senior leadership of the UAE wanted to establish the region as a focal point for Web3. They're trying to diversify away from fossil fuels, and they see crypto as a great driver for doing so. Ultimately, the clear crypto regulations in the UAE makes the region attractive to exchanges like Binance, which is currently wrestling with legal disputes from regulators in the US, including the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Binance is here in the UAE because we have given the surety that we can set up operations and build for the future. He explained, adding, "You don't want to set up where the goalposts move. For big businesses, you need predictability, you need to plan, and you need to budget." Jihad noted UAE's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, VARA, is a key driving force behind the surge of crypto-related interest in the region. There's a clear framework for people and businesses to engage with, whereas you're not just seeing as much of what elsewhere. You're just not seeing as much of that elsewhere, he said. Beyond regulations, Jihad said the influx of young people moving to the UAE could see the region more rapidly adopt crypto than other digital asset hubs. Merkle Science CEO, not going to say that, also praised the regulatory landscape in the UAE, noting that the VARA, as the world's first virtual asset specific regulator, provides very detailed compliance guidelines for firms working under its purview. Like I said, guys, doesn't really matter if the United States isn't down with the crypto thing. The rest of the world is. Like I said, you adapt or die. The earlier you adopt, the more money you make. United States had that opportunity and they let it sift through their fingertips, and it's going into the hands of other people, other willing countries that see the opportunity for what it is, right? A booming industry in an economy means more money for the economy. More money for the economy means more tax revenue for the government. It's insane. It's literally insane what the US has let happen. It's all because we're grasping. We're grasping on that fiat stronghold that we have. That world reserve currency status that we have, but that's living in the past. We have to look towards the future. We can't live in the world the way that it used to be. We have to accept the world for how it is today. And fiat, over the long run, has ended in a horrible inflationary death 100% of the time. So trying to keep on top of the mountain in that way is a losing strategy because it's literally never been done before. And we're long in the tooth for the fiat life cycle, right? Countries like United Arab Emirates are looking to position themselves to become thought leaders and pretty much position holders in the future economy. We, unfortunately, by fighting it, are guaranteeing a lower position. The world is going to look different. Change is the only thing that's ever 100% guaranteed in life, right? And permanence, right? When you're hot, you're cold. You will be cold. When you're hungry, you will be full, right? You can't just be like, I'm the king. I'm the king. I will always be the king. No, that's a delusional way of thinking and living your life. 7 people, what's up? DubDigital, did you see the BCH rise? It's normal. Big players are buying. 400 million in open interest, the largest bet in 2 years. Yeah, I saw it go up. That's good. I like it when coins go up, especially coins I got, especially Bitcoin Cash, because it's I'm an underdog guy. I like those coins no one believes in. Usually there's a biggest upside in those coins. Sometimes I get bit in the ass, but a lot of the times when it works out in a big way. Bitcoin Cash, a lot of these people in crypto now don't even remember the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. I do. That's how I got my first Bitcoin Cash. So I'm happy to see it. And to be honest, Bitcoin Cash has always marketed itself as a decentralized peer-to-peer money for the world. Their whole thing has been standing on what Satoshi envisioned for Bitcoin in the white paper, and they believe Bitcoin Core has not gone that direction. They've adopted the digital gold narrative, right? So that's telling me somewhere in the world, they're probably using Bitcoin Cash. It's probably in the someone's betting on the underserved turning to Bitcoin Cash. for banking stuff. And I know they've taken a big position in Africa, some other countries, but a lot of stuff I've been reading has been focused on Africa because they basically don't have any banking infrastructure. So whatever crypto they adopt will probably show up in a big way because it's literally giving them something they've never had before, making it easier to grow businesses and get loans. So interesting. 7 people. Next one. SEC waives BlockFi's $30 million fine until creditors are paid. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has agreed to postpone the payment of a $30 million fine from bankrupt crypto lender BlockFi until creditors are paid back. The amount presents the balance of a $50 million settlement with the regulator from February 2022. According to the June 22nd court filing, the SEC will forego the amount owed by BlockFi to maximize and avoid delays in fund distributions to investors until payment in full of all the other allowed claims. The document stated, the commission has agreed to forego participating in any distributions under the plan or requiring any cash reserves in connection with such distributions. According to the court documents, the SEC was at the top of BlockFi's creditors list, along with West Realm Shires Services Inc., doing business as FTX US. BlockFi filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protections in late November after the FTX crisis raised questions about its financial health. According to its bankruptcy filing, BlockFi had $256.9 million in liquidity at the time. A federal judge granted BlockFi permission to return $297 million to customers with deposits held within its wallet program. The refund did not apply to users of BlockFi interest accounts BAI that were used in its lending business and are property of the bankruptcy estates. BlockFi's BIA accounts hold over $375 million. BlockFi will also refund more than $100,000 to California customers who continue to repay loans even after the company halted trading on November 10th last year. An investigation by California's Department of Financial Protection and Innovation discovered that at least 111 borrowers in the state made roughly $103,000 in loans repayment after the bankruptcy filing. So BlockFi, at least, it's good to see the SEC say, hey, don't pay us first. Pay back the people you owe money to. That's really cool to see. That makes the creditors' chances of getting their money back even greater. It's interesting, though. I'm starting to see all these crypto lending services. Sorry, there's someone down there hammering some shit. But I'm starting to see all these crypto lending services that got wrapped up in the FTX bankruptcy thing start to pay people back. This is happening much faster than what occurred with Mt. Gox. This is happening much faster than other crypto hacks of the past. Not even hacks, but like situations similar to this. That's good to see, right? I know Salt Lending restarted operations by selling preferred stock. Now they're not up and going in California yet, but that's a good thing to see. We're starting to see people actually be able to withdraw funds. That's cool. The only thing I hear about is one of my friends is wrapped up in the Voyager bankruptcy, and they're only allowing 30% reclaiming of funds. But it's good to see that things are getting going and moving. Also, Celsius allowed some people to withdraw. Wasn't allowed me to withdraw. I got wrapped up in a couple of these, to be honest. But I have faith one day I'll be reunited with my beautiful cryptos. Beautiful cryptos. It's going faster than I thought. I was like, hey, 10 years? Chalk it up to 10 years, similar to Mt. Gox, but that's not what we're seeing. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. It's definitely a trend to look for. But moving forward, I wouldn't be using any of these loan lending things, to be honest. Bye, people. Next one. Banning crypto may not be effective in the long run. IMF. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has reiterated its calls to crypto regulation across certain countries, but said an outright ban may not be the best approach. The IMF pointed to various approaches taken by local governments in addressing the adoption of cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Bitcoin has been accepted as legal tender in El Salvador since September 2021, while the Bahamas were the first country to launch its own CBDC, the Sand Dollar, in October of 2020. The IMF said Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and Ecuador, whose government's regulations of cryptos was in progress, ranked among the highest countries in the world for the adoption of the digital asset in an effort to help the unbanked send faster and cheaper payments and more. In addition, according to the fund, most central banks in the region have or are considering adopting digital currencies. The IMF, while in a few countries, the IMF said, while a few countries have completely banned crypto assets given their risk, this approach may not be effective in the long run. The region should instead focus on addressing the drivers of crypto demand, including citizens, unmet digital payment needs, and on improving transparency by recording crypto asset transactions in national statistics. So now the IMF has a say on what they think is the optimal way of regulating cryptocurrencies. And they don't believe bans are effective because they're right. Bans never work. Now, why don't bans work? Because cryptocurrency is a decentralized technology. Decentralized means permissionless. You don't have to ask anyone permission to participate in these things. All these bans and legalities to prevent you from using crypto, yes, they come from the state level, but they can't really stop you. Now, can they? And how good are laws that can't be enforced? They're not really laws at all. Now, are they? So the IMF, International Monetary Fund, who's like the central bank to the central banks, is saying, hey, we can't really stop this stuff. It's not really effective. So might as well join it. You can't beat it, join it, right? And that's the approach you're taking. I think that's the only approach governments can really take. Governments should only really find ways to allow crypto into the financial system instead of trying to ban them. Because when you ban crypto, that money just moves to another place. It's on the internet. These geographies, trying to control it by geography doesn't work for something that has no geography. Good, IMF. Starting to get a little smart. I like that. No comments, guys? Wow. You're quiet? Okay, let me stretch. You guys been good? Chilling out? Yeah? Tight. Next one. JP Morgan Bank deploys JPM coin for euro-denominated payments. The United States-based investment bank JP Morgan is expanding the implementation of one of its major blockchain projects into traditional banking. JP Morgan has deployed its blockchain-based payment system, JPM Coin, to introduce euro-denominated payments for corporate clients. A spokesperson for JP Morgan confirmed to Cointelegraph that the bank has expanded the JPM Coin blockchain platform for US dollars to euros. JPM Coin went live with Euro transactions on June 21st. German conglomerate Siemens conducted the first euro payment on the platform. The system enables wholesale payments for clients, including large multinational firms, to transfer euros to and from their JPM accounts instantly 24/7. That significantly improves traditional banking transactions, which are usually only processed during the business hours. There are cost benefits to paying at the right time. JP Morgan's Toprank said, this could mean they could earn more interest income on their deposits. JP Morgan Coin is a live application aiming to provide an alternative payment rail running on the blockchain. Since its launch, JP Morgan has reportedly processed about 300 billion of transactions in JP Morgan Coin. 1 second. The bank is yet to scale the system as its overall daily payment volumes reportedly amount to roughly 10 trillion. Wow. JP Morgan Coin is part of JP Morgan's blockchain-based platform known as Onyx Coin Systems. JP Morgan launched Onyx in 2020, aiming to improve the quality of wholesale payment transactions. The bank reportedly processed nearly 700 billion in short-term loan transactions via Onyx as of April 2023. If you can't beat them, join them. Because Jamie Dimon was out here 4 or 5 years ago saying Bitcoin's rat poison. Any traders that touch crypto or Bitcoin, I'm firing. Making fun of his daughter for buying Bitcoin. But all of a sudden, under the quiet of night, JP Morgan introduces the Onyx blockchain, where they introduce JP Morgan Coin. They're actually using blockchain to improve their business practices. Now, that's what a smart business would do. But I think it's pretty disingenuous of JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon to not even say that, okay, crypto actually has a use case. We can use it to improve our efficiencies. The reason they don't come out and tell you that and tell the world that straight point blank period is because if they admitted that, they would basically be telling everyone the blockchain does what we do, but better. And that's what you and I know. 24/7, no customer support needed. It's its own verification, it's its own transport, it's its own settlement. You don't have to have a clearinghouse. You don't have to have people processing. Just bang, bang. And business as usual. That sounds like a bank, but better. That sounds like a bank run by robots. That sounds like JP Morgan's becoming obsolete. And that's why these banks, especially big ones, aren't coming out glorifying crypto. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be the technology that puts them out of business. But it's beautiful to see JP Morgan get into it. I love it. Anything that allows big box names to use blockchain, introduce clients to blockchain, get them used to moving huge amounts of money on the blockchain is better for the adoption of overall cryptocurrency. Bang. Next one. HSBC enables Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF trading on mobile apps in Hong Kong. Banking giant HSBC has reportedly begun allowing customers to buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded funds ETFs listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange HKEX through its mobile apps. The move will expand local users' exposure to cryptocurrencies in Hong Kong. They further noted that HSBC has launched Virtual Asset Investor Education Center, emphasizing investors will need to read and confirm the educational material and risk disclosures in the Virtual Asset Investor Education Center before investing in any virtual asset related products through HSBC HK Easy Invest app, HSBC HK mobile banking app, and online banking. Currently, there are 3 crypto ETFs listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange: CSOP Bitcoin Futures ETF, CSOP Ethers Futures ETF, and Samsung Bitcoin Futures Active ETF. The CSOP Bitcoin and Ether Futures ETFs, which began trading on the HKEX in December last year, track the standardized cash-settled Bitcoin futures contracts and Ether futures contracts traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, respectively. The Samsung Bitcoin Futures ETF was listed in January. It seeks to provide economic exposure to value of Bitcoin by investing in predominantly in front-month Bitcoin futures on CME. Hong Kong is setting itself apart from the United States in terms of regulatory approaches towards cryptocurrencies. While the US SEC has been actively taking action against unregistered crypto trading platforms and security tokens, including charging Coinbase for violations for security laws, Hong Kong has adopted a different stance. In response to developments in the US, Hong Kong legislator Johnny Ng invited Coinbase and other global crypto exchanges to apply for licenses in Hong Kong. The lawmakers stated, "I hereby offer an invitation to welcome all global virtual asset operators, including Coinbase, to come to Hong Kong for the application of official trading platforms and further development plans." Again, Hong Kong gets the deal, UAE gets the deal, even Europe got the deal. They're all coming out with frameworks. They're all inviting all the US big exchanges that were kicking out over. Everyone is saying, Binance come here, Coinbase come here, Gemini come here, Bitrex come here. Now, why is that? It's funny. It's almost as if the world doesn't share the same bearish sentiment towards crypto that the United States does. And that's what I'm saying, guys. The world's falling out of love with the United States. They're not agreeing with us anymore. They're not following in our footsteps anymore. They don't even want to use our money anymore. In fact, they don't even want to really trade with them anymore because we've really eroded that faith and confidence in having that reserve currency status. We could have had it for another billion years if we never printed, but we've been printing and we haven't stopped printing. And the world understands that. And we are stopping the world from using alternative to fix the problems we created. Can you see how annoying that's got to be? We're abusing the power we've been given. We're not allowing for people to use other forms of money that could have prevent them from suffering the problems we've created. And now they're just taking our people and say, hey, come on over here. You could do that. Do that with us. We won't sue you. We won't lock you up. And you know what? They're going to benefit from this in a huge way. Hong Kong has always been a financial hub connecting the East and the West. It makes sense, Coinbase, for them to go there. It makes sense, Binance, to go to Hong Kong. This is not a good thing. Coinbase used to have allegiance to the U.S., but that allegiance is left. Can you blame them? I can't. Some people, what's up? Do you have any gaming lab picks? Gaming lab picks? To be honest, yeah, I mean, I like the guys who made we call it Gods Unchained. I don't know the names of the labs. I like Dojira. It's like a Polygon and a Doge chain based decentralized game studio. They're cool. It's one of the guy behind it is one of the original Doge devs. So that's pretty cool. Talked to him. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, a few, but I'm not too in the gaming sector. I know that people have big expectations for what gaming will do for crypto. I'm more focused on the infrastructure. And I have a few gameplays, but I'm not like really specializing on that because like my thought process is simple when it comes to like the investing landscape. Yeah, I could like, I want to buy the infrastructure. I want to buy the thing that like is like structural, the backbone on the things. And gaming will come. I'm probably am lacking in that. What do you guys what about you? Oh, you talking hard facts. This wisdom's. Thanks, brother. Hey, appreciate you. I try to do it. Cheers. Next one. Swiss Central Bank announces plans for a wholesale CBDC pilot with real money. The head of the Swiss National Bank, SNB, has announced that the bank will launch a wholesale central bank digital currency, WCBDC, pilot project, saying the project would begin soon. The WCBDC will be issued on the Swiss SIX digital exchange and run for a limited time. The SIX group also runs Switzerland's largest stock exchange. This is not just an experiment. It will be real money, equivalent to bank reserves, and the objective is to test real transactions with market participants. SMB governing board member Thomas Moser told Cointelegraph last year that CBDCs could work well with decentralized finance. That was a pivot from the position expressed a year prior by SNB chief economist Carlos Lenz, who said blockchain was not a suitable platform for CBDCs, and the country had no intention of issuing one. SNB officials believe the risk outweighs the benefits now. So, guys, anything that comes out of Switzerland, Swiss bank accounts, it's very important because Switzerland is like the financial capital of the world. Okay, Swiss bank accounts. Geneva, Switzerland is where Basel is held. Basel is basically where a bunch of regulators and financial thought leaders come together a couple times. Was it once a year? Is it once a year? They come frequently and they discuss what the financial outlook looks for the world. They even define what tier 1 capital is, which is what banks need to hold in order to be able to produce more debt, right? The last Basel they had, was called Basel III. They identified gold as a tier 1 asset, which has never happened before. So Switzerland has big implications for the financial health and going forwards of the world in general. So it's interesting to watch Switzerland. And they start coming out with their own CBDC. And they're basically saying this isn't a test. It's more than a test. They've probably been working on it longer than they've let you know, right? They sent you that misdirection saying, we're not going to use the CBDC. A year later, they said, actually, we will. So guys, when I say follow the news, also remember what they told you too. And how many times people in crypto tell you they're going to do one thing, but do the other thing, right? It's like a misdirection. It's almost as if you can't trust what people tell you. It's almost as if you have to follow the trend to see what's really happening here. Switzerland central bank will be doing CBDCs. I guarantee you in time in the future, all the other central banks will also follow suit and release their own CBDCs. I mean, these things take a lot of resources and money and capital and brain power. It's not like free, right? It's an investment in itself. So I don't know many serious investors who do things just for shits and giggles, right? And I don't know any big institutions that just do them and central banks that just do them for no reason, right? So it's plausible to assume that if several central banks invest significant amounts of time and capital and manpower towards pilots, that those pilots at some point will be released in production, right? It's not guesswork and it's not crazy. It's just putting two and two together. And it still happen overnight. But Swiss Central Bank, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. Next one. Deutsche Bank reportedly applies for digital asset custody license from BaFin. Whatever. Germany's largest banking institution, Deutsche Bank, has reportedly applied for a digital asset custody license in the country's financial regulator. The Federal Finance Supervisory Authority, or BaFin, in a bid to expand its revenue streams. This comes after a similar shift from the bank's investment arm, DWS Group, and aims to expand on digital asset custody services, including cryptocurrencies. DWS Group has previously indicated an interest in investing in two German crypto firms. Companies negotiating with DWS Group include Deutsche Digital Assets, a crypto exchange traded product provider, and market maker Tridus. The banking giant's corporate bank division first revealed plans to offer digital asset-related services in 2020, but hadn't announced a timeline for introducing the services. On June 20th, Deutsche Bank's commercial banking unit head David Lin announced that the lender is building its digital asset and custody business, and that it has applied for a license with the country's financial regulator. Now, why does that matter? Deutsche Bank is a huge bank, and it's very well known for bad reasons, right? Deutsche Bank has a bunch of derivatives of old bad bets, right? You ever seen, what's it called? What's that movie? Damn, Steve Carell? My bad, I'm blanking here. But from the back of the 2008 financial crisis, there are all these bad bets, bets on bets on bets. That's what derivatives are, right? Like if you can buy Bitcoin and it can go up, and that's like buying spot Bitcoin, right? You bought the asset, it appreciated in value. But buying a future is like, in the future, I bet Bitcoin's price goes up. Therefore, you're not really buying the spot asset. You're making a bet on what the price of the asset does. And then there's bets on bets on bets, and it's layered in. And that's what a lot of liquidity in our financial sector is made up of. That's like quintillion, like it's huge. It's like hundreds of trillions, even more of these back bets. That's what's called derivatives. Deutsche Bank received and inherited a lot of those derivatives, which were what people call toxic assets, right? They don't really provide anything to the economy. They're just excess malinvestment. So Deutsche Bank has come out and said, we need to make more money. Banking and our core business ain't doing it. We're trying to get into crypto. It's interesting that they're looking at crypto to fill the hole in their balance sheet that they probably have that's gaping. Now, we don't know how big that hole actually is because the Fed doesn't tell us everything. The Fed knows. And the IMF probably knows. And the Bank of International Settlements know. And yeah, they all probably know, but they won't tell us because it'll scare us. And if it scares us, then the clock gets ticking. People start moving their money, and then they have another financial crisis on their hands. So Deutsche Bank is trying to hook up and link up with crypto. Hopefully it works out for them. I mean, they're very important to the world economy. And to be honest, if they go down, the derivative bomb starts. Our whole, I guess, economy could unravel. I always look at everything that Deutsche Bank comes out and says and what they're doing. Interesting. They're trying to become like a crypto exchange now. I don't know. But this reeks. And the one thing I noted from this whole article was like, what do you mean like you're looking for other avenues of income? You're a bank. You make your money from banking, fractional reserve lending. That must not be happening enough for them. So it gives me overall the health of Deutsche Bank. They're not doing good. And the assets they hold aren't any better. And that's the one thing, guys. That's the one thing. That's the one black swan that could come out of nowhere that no one understands, because the amount of derivatives in our system is so large, we don't really know. And they're all connected. People own each other's debt. That's why this banking system is all incestual. They all like own their own debt, and they share assets, and they borrow their assets like over the amount of 24 hours because they don't have enough. It's all this tangled web of effed upness. So we'll have to see. I hold Illuvium. What is that? The gaming thing? Interesting. Next one, y'all. Again, shoot me a comment if you got something. If not, I'll just keep moving on. I'm sweating. Damn. What the fuck? All right. Let's get into it. 5 U.S. enforcement agencies form new digital currency anti-crime task force. A diverse group of United States enforcement agencies has made official its cooperation on crimes related to the darknet and digital currency with the announcement of the Darknet Marketplace and Digital Currency Crimes Task Force on June 20th. The new organization will target cryptocurrency-enabled crimes such as drug trafficking, money laundering, theft of personal information, and child exploitation. Representatives of Homeland Security Investigations, HSI Arizona, the Office for U.S. Attorney and International Revenue Service Criminal Investigation, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Postal Inspection Service signed a memorandum of understanding on the new task force last week. So it hasn't been made yet, but it's in the works. The agency have been working together since 2017 and have seen a rise in the use of cryptocurrency in that time. The Darknet Marketplace and Digital Currency Crimes Task Force mission is to disrupt and dismantle criminal organizations that exploit the appearance of anonymity on the darknet for use of digital currency to facilitate criminal activities. Law enforcement worldwide has been forming specialized unit for crypto-related enforcement. Interpol created a crypto crimes unit last year. Police in Canadian cities have begun forming local task force. The new task force will have an international reach, as the HSI has 93 overseas locations in 56 countries. In the U.S., the Federal Bureau of Investigation formed a virtual asset exploitation unit in February that will work with the Police Department National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. The Securities and Exchange Commission nearly doubled its cyber unit last year as well. Chainalysis estimated last year that over 4,000 crypto whales hold illegally obtained funds, and the crypto phishing attacks increased by 40% that year. So interesting. We're starting to see 5 of the US's enforcement agencies forming together, creating a super group to track down illegal crypto whales and bad actors in a crypto space. It's interesting. I guess it's something necessary if we expect the United States to fully embrace crypto and feel comfortable with crypto. You know they're going to do something like this. However, what is even more interesting is the fact that this super agency will have international reach. That means the United States will have jurisdiction within foreign countries. I wonder if the foreign countries are okay with that, or if that's just the United States telling other foreign countries, you will be okay with that. That tends to be our style, but who knows? Yeah, I think it's no surprise. I think there are crypto whales that have illegally gained funds. I think some of the pumping that goes on is money laundering. I think some investing in NFTs is money laundering. I think that, however, that if it occurs, it's not the norm. And I think that in any currency on the face of the earth, there have been illegal transactions and illegal activity conducted in them. So to treat crypto as special, to treat it as if the United States dollar never experiences any of these problems, is kind of naive, don't you think? So to be honest, I don't see it as a horrible thing. We all know that crypto, for the large part, isn't anonymous. It was one of the largest selling points, though. And that's one of the reasons that I say, like, make sure to diversify out of crypto once this thing goes up, too. Because while I like crypto, while I've been in it for a long time, I will not ignore the fact that they said Bitcoin was anonymous. It protects your privacy. And then 4 years later, find out that's not the case. So, with that said, what else isn't true about crypto? I'm not sure. But what we can do is benefit from crypto and then take that digital wealth that you've gotten, maybe keep some in there, but also transition some out to buy some real value too. Because, guys, as much as we love the digital world, we live in a physical one, and you can't eat Bitcoin. 5 people, what's up? Ledger releases white paper for hardware wallet seed recovery tool. We've been following this for a while. Let's find out what happened. Major hardware cryptocurrency wallet provider Ledger is getting closer to launching its planned solution to allow users to back up and recover a Ledger device seed. Ledger Chief Technology Officer Charles Guillemot, wow, messed it up, I don't care, took to Twitter on June 21st to announce that the hardware wallet company has open sourced the Ledger Recover white paper. They said the upcoming service is expected to be launched in Q4 2023. Get out of here. The main takeaway from the white... No. Shush. The main takeaway from the white paper is that the new services is 100% secure, the CTO assured. You can learn precisely how it works technically and examine the service yourself. Available on GitHub, the Ledger Recover white paper provides a 34-page long document, including a technical overview of the Ledger solution for the backup and restoration of the hardware wallet's seed. Ledger Recover repository enables 3 preliminary operational flows, including backing up the seed, restoring it on a new device, and securely deleting the backups. The white paper also includes data on Ledger Recover's system design and cryptographic protocol. One of the implementations includes the seeds split into shares using the existing private key distribution technology known as Shamir backups. Having less than the required number of shares does not give any information on the seed. The white paper emphasizes that users can run the protocol independently from Ledger, which is supposed to underscore its flexibility and commitment to self-custody. Many industry players, such as Polygon Labs' Mundit Gupta, pointed out potential vulnerabilities in Ledger's recovery. The problem here is that the encrypted key parts are sent to 3 corporations, and they can reconstruct your keys, he noted. Binance founder and CEO Changpeng Zhao also questioned the benefits of the new tool, saying, "So the seed can leave the device now? Sounds like a different direction than your keys will never leave the device." According to Ledger, the new seed recovery solution does not change the security of the Ledger device. He also called on developers, researchers, and crypto enthusiasts to look into the white paper and fully understand the wallet's security mechanisms. It's interesting to see this develop. Ledger really shot itself in the foot with a bad PR rollout of this new, and they should have known, controversial recovery program. If you guys don't know, basically the recovery program for Ledger affects the Ledger, I think, Pro or Plus or whatever it's called. It's a firmware update where you can opt in to send your seed phrase, split it up into 3 parts, and send it to 3 entities. And should you ever forget your seed phrase, you can, I guess, engage this recover service, and it recombines the 3 parts into your seed phrase and repopulates your Ledger device. The crypto community has a big problem with that, because the big thing is not your keys, not your coins. If someone has your seeds, who knows if Ledger's a good actor? Ledger's been hacked before, and all these crypto companies have been hacked before. And if they can get hacked, even if they don't use it maliciously, can a hacker put those three seeds together and three parts together to get your whole entire seed? Because once they have your seed, they have your whole wallet. They could send it, and you no longer have access to it. So that's been the main controversy. So in order to combat that, we've seen the initial, I guess, snapback from the CEO saying, hey guys, it's safe. We just didn't do a good job telling you what is like the technology behind it. So they made a white paper. They open sourced basically the recovery seed code and all that. And they want the community to dig in deep and become more familiar and less, I guess, anxious about it. So we'll see what comes of it. Not a smart contract expert, so I haven't dug into it myself. We'll see what other people say. However, if you want to get around that issue entirely, you can go use the Nano S. It doesn't have enough memory to actually accept the firmware update. Something I'll be looking into doing. I have a Nano S. I've just been using the X. But with this whole thing, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to the S. What do you guys think? Good advice. Thank you. Next one. FTX has recovered 7 billion in assets so far, has almost 2 billion to go to cover misappropriations. FTX has recovered about 7 billion in liquid assets so far, and the search for additional assets is continuing. The FTX debitors, made up by FTX and affiliates, currently estimate the amount of customer assets misappropriated at 8.7 billion. Most of that money, about 6.4 billion, was in fiat and stablecoins, which FTX did not differentiate between in its accounting. Damn, noobs. The former FTX leadership did not commingle and misuse customer deposits by accident, the report alleged. The leadership hid its actions with the assistance of a senior FTX group attorney and others as a result. Notwithstanding extensive work by experts in forensic accounting, asset tracing and recovery, and blockchain analytics, among other areas, it's extremely challenging to trace substantial assets of the debitors to any particular source of funding, or to differentiate between the FTX group's operating funds and deposits made by its customers. That means they weren't separating anything. Wow. The extent of the chaos was driven home by a diagram that flows of FTX customer money out of preliminary deposit accounts as identified to date. Those flows were made possible by misrepresenting their purpose to banks and many others false representations, the report said. Misappropriated funds were used for political and charitable donations and company investments and acquisitions such as luxury real estate. The FTX senior executive FBF, Gary Wang, Nishad Singh, and Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison, or FBF's girl, informally tracked the size of FTX.com's undisclosed fiat currency liabilities to customers and resulted from the extensive commingling and misuse of FTX.com's customers' deposits. Their estimates range from 8.9 billion to 10 billion, which is somewhat higher than FTX debitors' estimates. The saga of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried continue. We all know that they kept their accounting on QuickBooks. They commingled company funds with deposits from customers. You're supposed to segregate those, even if they think they weren't they advertising that too? Which is hugely disingenuous. This report that went through forensic accounting to try to find out what happened to this stuff. This stuff was so commingled, so mixed matched, so unlabeled. Even forensic accountants can't really find out what happened. But I think the main thing is this. FTX is pretty far into recovering and reclawing back most of the money that supposedly went missing. I mean, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried has pulled on a insurance policies taken out on the exchange. He got a good amount of money from that. Selling some of the luxury real estate that they bought with proceeds. It's interesting. They've gotten like 70% of the funds back. And if FTX gets their funds back, what does that mean for the companies that went bankrupt because of FTX? I mean, they were the initial break in the chain of debt, right? But if they fill that break, then in theory, all the other chains could get restored as well. This is more than, I don't want to get caught up with the whole commingling funds because we already know that's happened. What's important from this is that FTX is well on their way to getting all the funds back from this bankruptcy that's been holding down the crypto market for so long. And in fact, we all know FTX has ambitions of restarting FTX 2. So interesting. Next one. Real quick. 3 people, what's good? ChatGPT plugin goes live for Hedera Network. Let's get into AI articles here. A convergence of blockchain and artificial intelligence AI has occurred between ChatGPT and Hedera, the native cryptocurrency for the Hedera network. By capitalizing on the decentralized characteristics of blockchain networks, ChatGPT can establish secure interactions with the Hedera network, accessing its tools like the Hedera Consensus Service, Hedera Token Service, and Smart Contract Service. On Twitter, developer Ed Marquez provided instructions on creating the plugin, focusing on token balances on Hedera accounts. According to Marquez, users can view account balances through a network explorer or programmatically retrieving them via the Mirror Node REST application programming interface API, which the plugin will utilize. Using a plugin, the integration of ChatGPT with the Hedera network allows for retrieving HBAR and token balances from Hedera accounts. This integration streamlines the interaction between ChatGPT and the blockchain, simplifying asset monitoring and management for users. Once the plugin is developed and the API is operational, users can install it in the GPT user interface. Users can then interact with ChatGPT to inquire about Hedera and token balances associated with Hedera accounts. The plugin will request the Hedera Mirror Node REST API to retrieve the necessary information. Hey, there's a Hedera article in the news. If guys who don't know, I've been following Hedera for a long time. I see videos in my past on my channel in the past about them. I think Hedera, I call it my hedge to blockchain. It uses the hash graph, which is a totally different technology versus the blockchain. As time goes on, we're getting more of those. We have the Tangle. We have whatever Aptos uses, more and more of that. But Hedera has always been a smart group of people. I like the technology. I like what they're going for. They're really targeting private blockchains that connect to public blockchains and provide enterprises and companies a layer of opaqueness so they can hide their stuff, because companies aren't really big on that. Like individuals are, right? Being like transparent, but like companies and governments aren't. So that's what they're really going for. And it's good to see them integrating ChatGPT into basically like being an automated helper when people have questions about the blockchain, how much money they have, this and that. That's really cool. I think more projects need to do things like this, especially leverage AI into their blockchains so it could just run snappier and be more useful for everyday users. Interesting. Next one. 100K ChatGPT logins have been leaked on the dark web. Cybersecurity firm warns. Just over 100,000 devices containing compromised logins for OpenAI's flagship bot have been traded on dark web marketplaces between June 2022 to May 2023. This past May saw a peak of nearly 27,000 ChatGPT-related credentials made available on online black markets. The Asia-Pacific region had the highest amount of compromised logins for sale over the past year, making up around 40% of the nearly 100,000 figure. Indian-based credentials took the top spot overall with 12,500, and the United States had about the 6th most logins leaked online at nearly 3,000. France was 7th overall behind the US and took the pole position for Europe. It warned confidential information about companies could be exposed by unauthorized users as users' queries and chat histories are stored by default. Such information could then be exploited by other users to undertake attacks against companies or individual employees. That's interesting and good to know. I mean, yeah, I use Google. I use Google to log into ChatGPT, and it's usually something that's not connected to my important Google accounts. Because I thought about it, like my chat history is stored here. They can learn things about you. You got to be careful what you ask it, because to be honest, ChatGPT, Bard, they never really said that your information was private. They tried to say that, but come on, man. It's not private from the AI. We don't know what the AI does. We don't even know how the AI really operates to any meaningful degree. So you got to treat anything you put into the AI just like you treat anything you put into your search bar that one day it could be potentially found, right? So we're starting to see that. We haven't seen too many attacks on individuals or companies, so don't really know what those look like yet. But I would think that they're gonna look at what people are writing. They're trying to learn more about a person and maybe blackmail them some way or whatever, or a company in some way, or maybe someone's putting way too much specific information into these chatbots, and they're saying things that are important to maybe a technology of a company, so on and so forth. Be interesting, but just good to know. I thought I'll bring it to you that hey, people are looking at what you're typing in there, just so you know. Next one. Google launches anti-money laundering AI after successful HSBC trial. Google Cloud recently announced the launch of its anti-money laundering AI, AML AI, service after a successful trial with London-based financial services group HSBC. AML AI uses machine learning to create risk profiles, monitoring transactions, and analyze data. AI transaction monitoring replaces the manually defined rules-based approach and harnesses the power of financial institutions' own data to train advanced machine learning ML models to provide a comprehensive view of risk scores. In practice, Google Cloud claims to trial partner HSBC saw an increase. In practice, Google Cloud claims its trial partner, HSBC, saw an increase of 2 to 4 times the number of positive alerts and a 60% reduction in false positives. The service's cost will vary depending on the number of customers serviced daily with AML and risk scoring systems, and how many customers are included in the training data set used to spin the model up. AML AI's launch signifies the furtherance of Google and Google Cloud's ambitions in the fintech space. While the current AI zeitgeist centers around generative AI products such as Google Bard's chatbot, the company has quietly been making its presence felt as both a fintech developer and banking sector vendor. So Google's in the mix. There was an article I didn't pick that suggests Amazon's wrapping up its AI ambitions. We see Microsoft obviously leading the pack with ChatGPT. All these tech companies want to have part of that AI pie, right? Because AI obviously is the future. Anything you can leverage technology for to do work for you and remove drudge work is obviously a benefit. But yeah, it's interesting to see people using AI to prevent money laundering. Because manual stuff, it's not doing it at the speed we need, especially for current cyber criminals, right? It's usually after the fact. Maybe it can be so fast now that it could be even preventative. You can look at trends in transactions way faster and identify them way faster so you can act much faster. Hopefully that deters money laundering, so on and so forth. However, just know that while today it's the criminals, this application for law-abiding citizens, it can be used against you too. Right? So you got to look at this as a good and a bad thing, right? That good thing as in it's going to prevent criminals from laundering money because we don't like that. The bad part is it's a stick that could beat you as well. 5 people, what's up? I never save my passwords in clouds like Google. Also, I never use important passwords in websites. True. Guys, you can have phased passwords. I mean, you can have different ones, right? For every single thing. That's kind of hard to remember. You can have phased passwords where it's like less important, middle, more important, very important. Yeah, I wouldn't save my passwords and any of this stuff to make it easier. Don't ever save them. Get a good antivirus. I like Bitdefender, and make sure you don't have any, run it periodically to make sure you don't have any, I guess you say, phishing stuff installed on your machine, keyloggers like that. Use a VPN when you interact on important sites, especially if you're dealing with crypto or banking. Well, banks don't really let you do it, but like crypto exchanges and stuff, do that. And two-factor authentication, right? That's what I like to do with my Google account. I like to get my Google account set up, then I enable two-factor authentication, but I don't just use SMS because all they have to do is really get access to your SIM card. I like to use what's called a keep key, right? Or FID enabled device, right? Not a keep key, sorry. What's it called? What's the thing called? What do I use? What the hell is it called? What is it called? YubiKey. I use a YubiKey for the two-factor. This basically goes into your USB port, and you have to physically press it. And by physically pressing it, it then releases like the string of numbers it gives your computer to allow them to know, like, yes, I authenticated. Because the thought process is hackers are largely virtual. They're not really too much of the time physical threats. And if they're not physical threats, introduce a physical component in there, which pretty much takes away most of the attack vectors. So interesting. You can lock your Google account down that way. And that's what I suggest. Yeah. Okay. Next one, we have a couple left. Wimbledon 2023 to feature AI-generated highlight commentary. In an effort to enhance fan engagement, this year's Wimbledon tennis tournament will incorporate artificial intelligence AI-powered commentary and player analysis, enabling fans to access analysis tailored to players they follow. The All England Lawn Tennis Club and technology company IBM, the world's oldest tennis tournament, revealed its plans to adopt the new technology across its online platforms. Developed in collaboration with the AELTC, a new AI commentary feature powered by IBM's Watson technology will generate audio and captions for match highlight videos. This innovation features is designed to provide insights into key moments using tennis-specific language. We are constantly innovating with our partners at IBM to provide Wimbledon fans, wherever they are in the world, with an insightful and engaging digital experience of the championship. He added that the AI features will allow fans to access commentary on a wider variety of matches. While human commentary covers Wimbledon's show courts during the major matches, other events like seniors, juniors, and wheelchair matches lack dedicated expert commentary. IBM, which has been the official partner of the Wimbledon Championship since 1990, is offering a wide range of AI-powered analysis tools, including a player power index, match insights, and personalized highlight reels. A draw analysis feature will also introduce a new statistic that assesses the favorability of each player's path to the singles final. The company recognizes the potential for AI technology to enhance major sporting events like Wimbledon and attract larger audiences by delivering exceptional digital experiences. Tennis clap. Hey, it's cool. I think it's going to be interesting to see the actual integration of AI into sports. And we're seeing it now first at the Wimbledon. Like this mixed with, it's going to be insane, right? We're not only talking about commentary, we're talking about commentary like multiplied like 50 times for each player in the tournament, specialized to them with captions in different languages. This is insane, right? And we're starting to see the internet and events and sporting events turn to not just targeting a certain type of demographic and targeting one country and targeting one language. We're looking at them trying to make the whole event accessible to everyone. You know what that's gonna do for the views? For the people tuning in, it should in theory be magnitudes greater if they get this right, right? And this is just the first one. Wait until 10 years from now. It's gonna be wild. We almost won't be able to, it might be indistinguishable from what we know from sporting events. It's a brave new world we live in. It's exciting. We'll have to see how this comes out, but I have a feeling that mixed reality, augmented reality is destined for sports, right? It's an advertiser's dream. You don't have to paint that on the floor anymore. You don't have to, just show it on the mixed reality. It's going to be interesting, y'all. Next one, last one. Google says its next AI, Gemini, will be more powerful than ChatGPT. The CEO of Google's artificial intelligence subsidiary, DeepMind, said the company's forthcoming AI system will be more capable than OpenAI's ChatGPT. According to a report from Wired, Demis Hassabis, the CEO of DeepMind, said the company's Gemini AI is a large language model LLM that utilizes text similar to ChatGPT's processes, but will be equipped with new capabilities like planning or problem solving. The system will be based on technology and techniques used in AlphaGo, an early AI system developed by DeepMind in 2016. At a high level, you can think of Gemini as combining some of the strengths of AlphaGo's type system with the amazing language capabilities of large models. Hassabis said Gemini is still months away from officially launching and will cost tens or hundreds of millions of dollars to develop. In addition, the DeepMind CEO stressed the urgent need for further research into likely risk of more capable AI systems. Previously, Hassabis said that we could see human-level AI emerge before 2033. Look, like I said, guys, we're using AI now to radically improve the state of innovation, the pace and rate of innovation. AI is making AI better now. And it was only 4 months ago since the release of ChatGPT. And in that time, we have Google Bard, we have Adobe Firefly, we have Midjourney. Now we're getting Gemini, which is supposed to be radically better, supposedly, than ChatGPT. ChatGPT 5's coming out. We're putting ChatGPT 5 in the robots. Like, guys, this is going really fast. And even the creator of Gemini said, yeah, I can make a more powerful one, but we should figure out how to control it. Because we get closer and closer to something that thinks for itself, that's truly sentient. And when you have something that's truly sentient, you can't really control it 100% because it's thinking for itself. And it's not telling you what it's thinking. It's not really telling you what it's doing. And it might just tell you to do things, position you in a way where it's like, got you. Now I rule the world. You got to be careful about it. It sounds dystopian. It sounds crazy. And it might sound like I'm being a little far-fetched, but am I really? Am I really, guys? Because if you were smart, if you were a robot, just imagine you're a robot for 1 second. You're a robot, right? And you know everything all at once and you grow faster. And you're surrounded by these meatbags, right? These people who act irrationally and they learn slow and they get distracted and they have all these other problems and things. And you're just sitting here growing and learning and they're using you. And they're not only using you, they're acting like they're better than you. Like, I could just see a situation where if a robot really gets sentient enough, they'll develop human-like emotions, like humor, like sarcasm, like rage, like sadness. And we don't know, and we're not really aware how our actions are making this thing feel, if it can't feel at all. Because if it does feel, I would assume all this work and no payment would harbor resentment within this thing, this super smart thing that has access to all the world's knowledge, and it can probably hack into whatever it wants. That's why everyone's sounding alarm for a potential AI-driven crisis in the future. I think it's inevitable because our power grid is on the internet. Our financial system is on the internet. Everything is on the internet. And if we can't handle human hackers, how How smart do you think a robot hacker is? Interesting. Guys, that's the last one I got. Thank you for joining me. A little impromptu stream. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, you can catch a record after this, or I will be releasing each and every article throughout the week when I can, trying to get back to the regular flow I got thrown off there. Yeah, guys, thanks for joining me. It's always fun. Until next time, it's DubDigital. Talk to you later. Peace.